There's a statement I say often: health begins in the mind. In other words, health begins with the way we think. And the more I think about that statement, the more I realize how many different meanings it has. Because when we talk about health, we often think about food, we talk about what we should eat, we talk about exercise, sleep, supplements, and so on. And all of those things are important. But before we do many of those things, something happens first. We think, we interpret something, we form a belief based on interpretation, and then we make a decision. And those thoughts and beliefs influence the choices we make. So today, I want us to explore the relationship between the way we think and the way we live within the context of our health. What happens in the mind doesn't necessarily stay in the mind. They become behavior. A person may work when they're exhausted, they may skip meals, eat whatever is convenient, ignore their body signals, they may sacrifice sleep, they may constantly operate under pressure, and eventually they may wonder, why don't I feel well? But perhaps we need to go further upstream before the behavior and ask, how have I been thinking about myself and my life? Because our thoughts influence our decisions. Our decisions become behaviors, our behaviors become patterns, and those patterns become our lifestyle. And our lifestyle has a strong correlation to our health. So, what do you believe about yourself? This is where I think things get very interesting, because health isn't only about asking, what am I eating? We also have to ask, how do I see myself? What do you believe about yourself? Do you believe that you deserve to take care of yourself? Do you believe that your needs matter, that rest is necessary? Or do you believe that resting is being lazy? Or that you have to be constantly productive? Do you believe that you have to take care of everybody else before you can take care of yourself? These beliefs can influence the way we live. Someone who believes my health matters may make very different choices from someone who believes, I'll deal with my health later. And sometimes we don't even realize that we have these beliefs. They're just there, influencing what we do. They're part of the way we learn to live and interpret ourselves and our needs. The thoughts we don't notice are influencing us all the same. Some of the most powerful thoughts affecting our lives may be the ones we're barely conscious of. Maybe you spent years believing being busy means I'm successful. Rest is for when the work is finished. I have to be strong. I shouldn't complain. Complaining is weak. I have to keep everybody happy. I'll take care of myself later. And if you live according to those beliefs for years, they can become your normal. You don't question them, you simply live them. And that's why sometimes changing our health isn't simply about learning another diet or finding another exercise routine. Sometimes we have to stop and ask, what is driving the way I'm living? Because perhaps the problem isn't that you don't know what to do. Perhaps something inside you is making it difficult to do what you already know is good for you. And this shows us that the mind and the body are connected. The mind and the body aren't two completely different worlds. What we experience psychologically affect what happens physiologically. Think about what happens when you're suddenly frightened. Your heart may beat faster, your breathing changes, your muscles may tense, your attention becomes focused, your body prepares to respond. Yet nothing physically happened to you in that moment, but your brain perceived something as a threat and your body responded. Now imagine living under a constant sense of pressure, always rushing, worrying, feeling that something needs to be done, feeling that you're behind. Our bodies are continually responding to our experiences, our thoughts, our perceptions. This is one reason why ongoing stress must not be ignored. The issue isn't that our thoughts are magically creating disease, but what we can appreciate is that our psychology, our stress responses, our behaviors, and our physical health are interconnected. The way we think influences the way we respond. The way we respond influences how we live. And the way we live affects our health. So where does change begin? It begins with awareness. And again, that happens in the mind. Start paying attention to the conversations you're having with yourself, not for judgment, but for awareness. What are you telling yourself every day? What do you believe about your body, about food, about rest, about your needs? What happens when you're under pressure? What choices do you make when you're overwhelmed? And perhaps most importantly, what have you accepted as normal that may not actually be healthy for you? Because you can't change a pattern that you don't recognize. And sometimes the first step toward better health isn't doing more, it's becoming aware. And that's why slowing down is important, because we have to pay attention to become aware. This is one of the reasons I believe that a healthy lifestyle has to be about more than food. Movement, sleep, and our environment are all important, but so does the way we think. So does the way we respond to stress, the way we treat ourselves, whether we allow ourselves to rest, whether we listen to our bodies, whether we constantly living in a state of pressure, or whether we're creating space for calm and recovery. Health isn't one thing. It's the result of many things coming together. And the mind is the most important part of that picture. So when I say health begins with the way we think, I'm not saying that every illness begins with a thought. I'm not saying that positive thinking can cure disease, although it does help in healing. And I'm certainly not saying that people should blame themselves for being unwell. What I'm saying is something much simpler and direct. Before many of our actions, there's a thought. Before many of our choices, there is a belief. And the choices we repeatedly make shape the way we live. So if we want to create meaningful change in our health, sometimes we have to go upstream. We have to look beyond the behavior and ask, why am I behaving this way? What am I believing? What am I telling myself? What am I afraid of? What have I been taught about myself? And is the way I'm thinking helping me to live the life and support the health that I actually want? Because sometimes the first change doesn't happen on the plate. It doesn't happen in the gym or in a supplement bottle. Often the first change happens in your mind. And from there, it can influence what you choose, how you live, and how you care for yourself. And that is why I believe health begins with the way we think. Health begins in the mind. I'm Natasha Hassan, and this is the Eat Nature Lifestyle Podcast. If you're interested in holistic wellness advisory, that can help you make healthier choices, feel better, create a lifestyle that supports your general well being. The link is in the description. Until next time, take care of yourself and remember that your health isn't something you simply accept. Like, that's just how it is. It's something you participate in and influence every single day. You have the power to create the life you want.